A few days ago, I checked my N8N execution history and I noticed my backup workflow has been failing for almost a week, as you can see here. That 7 days I was not aware of it. And can you imagine this would happen in production or for a client? And this is why the error trigger node in N8N exists. It notifies you immediately when something breaks. Now I will tell you how you can set it up. So you go to the plus sign and here you type error and you see the error trigger. It triggers a workflow when another workflow has errors. And now if you click fetch event, you can see it gives you a demo output, but we're gonna trigger a live event because this one will show you much more details. So minimize this and we're gonna save this workflow as my error workflow. It's saved already. I will show you how it works via a simple workflow. This is the simple workflow we're gonna test it on. It gets triggered by a Telegram trigger, it sends an HTTP request and it sends the answer back to Telegram. If you want the error workflow to get triggered when something happens, you have to set it up first. So you go to the three dots at the top right of your screen, you go to settings, and here you see error workflow to notify when this one errors. And here you choose the error workflow you just set up. Here is my error workflow and save. In order for a workflow to trigger the error node, it needs to be active. So I'm gonna make it active. Workflow activated. And now we can test it via Telegram. Yay. Yay. See, the workflow is working, it sends a response back. But now what happens if this company decides to change their endpoint and they change it to this and you are not aware of it, so you have your workflow like this. And now we're gonna test it again. There is no answer back. But now if we go to our error handler and we go to executions, we see it just got triggered. And if we copy this to editor and unpin the data, unpin, yeah, enter it. And now you can see it gives much more details as the fetch results. So you have the name of the workflow, the ID of the workflow, the error message, the URL of the workflow. That's all we need to send messages. We can send message, let's say, by email. Send a message so we get notified by email. I'm gonna send a mail to myself. Hey Peter, there is an error. So the name of the workflow we could find at the bottom, well, my workflow too. The error message was, here it was, message. And the URL was this one. And we can also get notified by Telegram, send message. And the text we can just copy and paste the one from here. Text, expression, copy paste. And what I suggest you to do is also make an Excel file to keep track of all the errors that are happening. Me, I have this Excel file or Google Sheet file with the time, the name, the URL, level, and error. So we're gonna update this one or append new row in sheet. Time is now. The name was at the bottom. The URL was at the top. The level or the severity is this one. And then what we still need, error, was this message. Okay, now I'm gonna save this and try it again via our Telegram. And here you see, I got the error message. Hey, there is an error in your workflow, the name of the workflow, the error message, and the URL. Let's check our error logs file. The name of the workflow, the URL. And if I go to my inbox, hey, message from myself, me, hey, there's an error. Hey Peter, there is an error in one of your workflows, name of the workflow. I know, the formatting is not that good. I'm aware of it, but that can be changed. And if I click on the URL, it brings me to this, and here you can see, this is the error. But you have to be aware, not every error or not everything that stops your workflow triggers the error node. I will show you something. It's this workflow, simple workflow, it's got triggered and it gets data from a Google Sheet. Like this one, very simple. So now let's activate it and test it. Hello. Now we go to the executions of this one. And here it is. It gives an output. Okay, copy this to editor. We're gonna activate the error node, as shown before. We're gonna change this node to always output data. Save it, and now we're gonna make sure that there is no data as output. And let's see what happens. Nothing. We go to executions. There is no error message. As you can see, there is no error message, even if there was no output. But your workflow stops working. Nothing happens anymore. And you don't know. But you still want to have a notification that it stopped working. That can be fixed. You go back to editor. We use an if statement. If that's the output of the previous node, that's a string, exists, we continue the workflow. If there is no output or if the output is empty, we go to the false node, and here, that's a very cool node existing in N8N, the stop an error node. So this is type error, error message. So this is the one that triggers the error node that we have set up. There is an error, no output, and we're gonna save this. And now let's see what happens. Now it generates an error message. Hey Peter, there is an error, blah, 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 blah. And this is the message we just filled in. I think this was it for this video. I hope you learned something. This can be very, very important if you put workflows into productions or use it for clients. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe, watch my other videos. In a few days I will upload a new video. But before, I'm going to end this video. I will show you what triggers that error node and what not. So this is the overview of what triggers the error handler in N8N. As you can see, API errors, invalid JSON responses, and a whole list that triggers it. But there are also many things that don't trigger it, like your workflow never started, or let's say your credentials are not valid anymore. Here it is. And now I wish you a very nice day. Bye.